and welcome to my studio. Today we're working on Mr. Bones here, and we're actually going to make him out of the Candy Pail that you buy like at Walmart for under $1 or any of those stores. And I picked up the skull and some hands at the dollar store, and we're going to start by cutting our pail. So let's get started. With our pail, you get to decide if you want to leave the color on the inside the way it is, or if you want to spray paint it all black as a base. If you want to leave the color the way it is, take your paper, 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper, and put them inside the pail and spray paint the outside, and then the color doesn't get on the inside, and then cut it. Now if you're going to do all of it and not worried about it, we're going to go ahead and cut out his face first. And I picked the candy pails with the simplest faces. I didn't want them to be real complicated or anything, so I just picked out the basic jack-o'-lantern faces. And I'm going to be doing a lot of these. We've got a lot of different things, different projects. So I am using a hot knife, and these are just a regular hot burner or wood burner that you find at your craft store or Walmart or anything like that, with the knife tip. And it is very, very hot, and you could cut it other ways if you wanted to. And I'm just going to follow, and it kind of, the term melts like butter. You don't want to push it, you just want the hot tip to kind of melt through it. And I found out if you kind of follow the back part first, that's how you kind of learn how to guide it. And I'm just simply cutting out all of the facial features. And I'm not worried about the edges, because we want them to kind of have a rustic feel anyway for the different things that we're using them for. So if you wanted to kind of make them smoother, you could go back with your knife a little bit, or you could even go back with your sandpaper and sand them down. You don't want any really rough edges, but you don't want them perfect. Now, I suggest doing this in a well-ventilated area. You might even wear your mask, just for any fume purposes. And we're going to go ahead and finish cutting these guys. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of projects with these guys this year, even some Thanksgiving pumpkins, so make sure you check out all of the different videos. And just around his mouth, around the teeth. If you accidentally cut into a part, just stop, pull it out, and just leave that cut there. Don't worry about it, and just continue on. If you really like the cutout look, there you can look for the blades at Walnut Hollow. That's where I believe you can find them on the website. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish cutting this all the way around. It's not going to take me much time. If you don't want to cut it out, you can just paint this part. When we get to that part of the solid colors, we'll talk about that as well. Once you have your pumpkin all cut, take him and spray him inside, and then we're also going to make sure we spray him on the outside with black spray paint. And you want a black spray paint that likes to go to plastic, so we're going to start with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove my handles, and you can leave them on there as long as they help you and don't get in the way. And one more thing that I'm going to cut out right away is a hole in the back if you want to put lights in it. So we're just going to cut a circular hole right at the bottom where the lights would come in. And I don't have my hot knife heated up. So we're just kind of getting them going here. Just big enough that we can get those lights in there. And if you do that before you spray paint it, that is just fine. And then you don't have anything showing through that back hole, but we'll cover it up so we're not going to worry about that. Now, we're going to go ahead and start with our pumpkin part first. And I've already got these black lines in, so we don't have to put the black in. It's already there. And we are going to be using multi-surface paint. And it is for all kinds of surface, so it's going to stick to your plastic or glass or anything like that. And I've been picking mine up at Walmart. So, or the craft stores will carry it, anything that is multi-surface. And I'm going to be using a craft sponge. And I've dampened it, but there's no water left in it. I've wrung it out really, really well. And I'm just going to pounce into my gray paint. On this one, I'm going to use a little bit darker. I'm going to use medium gray on this. And we're just going to pounce our color into this. And the reason we're pouncing it is so you get this texture and you get this stony kind of look. And we'll kind of give you a close-up there so you can see how that looks so different than just being brushed on. You get that really, really textured look, kind of more the stone look or something like that. Now I'm going right down the middle of the pumpkin ridges. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do in just a second here. We're going to kind of come back in and just lightly go over that. And you can see we've got the black in between those. Now, if you wanted those blacker, then go ahead and put those in with black multi-surface paint, and those will even be blacker if you want those ridges to really, really stand out. And we're just going to go around here. Now when we're working right here, we're just sponging over the top of that, not real hard, just to kind of blend that, but keep those ridges separated so that you see those ridges and you get the fullness and the roundness of the pumpkin. And that's kind of makes it show more. And it looks like it's fuller. Now up here on the top, you can kind of come in and sponge that color around the rim and then hit it again with your sponge to bring that out. Now, when we do his face, we're basically going to kind of do the same thing here. Go in between those. But leave those areas. I'm going to go up around here on the top again, that area, and then sponge that back on. Now on his eyes, where there's a bunch of gray, kind of come in a little bit on the black and just give that, to break that up so it's got a little bit of gray in there. If you didn't have the spray paint, you could put the black down, the black paint, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do the same thing with the edges at the bottom, is just slide that all the way around. So you can get that gray part there and then come back and hit that with your sponge. Get your teeth in. And again, hit those eyes just a little bit on the mouth. And I actually have, this pumpkin was purple, and I actually have just a little shade of purple shining through, and I kind of like that. And I've got purple lights for it as well, so I think that's going to be kind of cool. I'm working on a tray to keep the paint kind of confined so it's not a mess all over my table. These are what they call boot trays. You usually find them at the spring, and I usually find them at the dollar stores, and they are worth their weight in gold. They work really good for stuff like this, so that's another kind of trick we're going to give you. So we've got him kind of spooky looking there. Make sure I kind of get him where he's rubbed off on the paper towel. Now I'm also going to put a little bit lighter gray in just to kind of give him a kind of stone effect, I guess. Again, we're going to kind of go here and there, and I just have a little bit, not that much, and then I'm going to come back over with that gray again and just blend it in just a little bit more. I'm just pouncing off most of my paint before I even get it over to my pumpkin. And you can also put it on, and then on your clean end come back and pick some of that up. So that works good too. And you want to turn it and move it when you're applying it. You don't want to keep it in the same spot because you don't want the same pattern. So we're going to come back with our gray now and just kind of blend this all in. I need just a tad more bit of gray here. Now you can see how this pumpkin is a lot darker than the other pumpkin. I used more of a lighter gray on the other one, but I think I like this one, especially for the hands and the skull, this darker a little bit better, but whatever you like. Now I'm just coming back over the white or the lighter gray that we put on and just blending it in just a little bit better. More of that granite type look here. Stay away from your ridges. Down in the ridges, you want to keep those just the way they are. And I think that looks pretty good. I mean, you could sit here and go back and forth and do a lot of that, but don't overdo it. I'm going to put a little bit of that lighter color right on those teeth to really make those stand out. You could put lighter around the eyes, whatever you wanted to do. If you did not want to cut the pumpkin out, make the eyes either the dark or leave them black and just sponge just a tiny bit so you don't have a stark line between those, and then you could do it without cutting that out. So you have that option as well. So we're going to let this guy dry a little bit, and while he's drying we're going to go work on our hands and our skeleton. As you can see, they're okay, but we can make them better. We can make them spookier. So I'm going to take my, just a regular, this is probably a school brush where the kids paint when they're young, and we're going to do there's a couple ways you can make them older. And the first thing is to kind of put a little bit of water into your brush and then get way down into the joints or the creases, and then we'll wipe the rest off so that those lines down in the creases will kind of stay. So let's take this guy and wipe him off. And you can already see, and I'm not going to wipe all of it off even, I'm going to leave some of that on, and you can see how much better we've already got him than our other ones. We kind of have that old look, like it's been in the dirt for 100 years, and play with that. Now the other way to do that is what I call dry brushing, and you can use a combination of the two. Is with your brush without any water in it, just go up and down and it'll just lightly put that on. So those are the two different methods that you can use, or like I said, you can use a combination of the two. When you dry brush it, you don't take it off like I just did, but I wanted to get these joints in here and go ahead and do that, and then I'll put some more dry brushing over the top, and I'm going to do this with both of my hands. And I found these hands both at the dollar stores, 99-cent and Dollar Tree this year. And just keep rubbing them till you get them where you want them. And like I said, I kind of like a combination of the two. So we've got that kind of spooky, and it kind of goes with our thing. The one part I always miss, and I don't know why, is right there, between those fingers. Now, if you think that outside is a little bit too dark, just wet it down and pull a little bit of that paint off some more. So we're going to go ahead and start on this guy. Kind of missed in between his fingers. I want to kind of leave that stark. So let's start with the joints first. And if you do this to your skeletons, you're going to get a whole different feel from them. And do real quick on the back. Brushing. And you can do this a whole lot lighter than I'm doing it. I've kind of got a heavy hand today. My other one's a lot lighter, I know. And then we're going to do that to our skull as well. I would like to poke holes in these and also put two lights up here. I think that would be fun. Now I want to get his teeth in this area really well. Also his nose and his eyes. Those kind of seem to be the areas where you can fill in and take it off. Then we'll dry brush the rest of that once we're done. Even do this on those little tiny skeletons. I've done that before. Little tiny guys. And then we're going to dry brush him a little bit here. And just a little bit of paint in your brush. I probably have a little bit too much right now. Just wipe that off a little bit. I don't like the stark kind of plastic look. I like it darker. I thought it was really funny because mustaches are really in right now. So I found a pack of, I don't know, 6 or 8 mustaches at the dollar store. And I thought it'd be cute to have them on the skull just to give it that kind of funny Halloween feel. Okay, so we've got him all done, And we're going to go ahead and let our pumpkin finish drying and our hands and face dry. And once they're dry, I'm going to go ahead and spray them with glow-in-the-dark paint. And just so that they're even spookier if they're sitting outside, that they glow in the dark. I'm also going to put a matte coating of varnish over my pumpkin to hold everything really well, matte, so that he's not shiny, that he's kind of got that old bony feel to him. So we'll go ahead and let everything dry, and then we'll get started from there. With these projects, we get lots of paint all over us, and I have brought in this because I love this. This is our new craft cleanup brush, and it's a nice brush. It's got real soft bristles, and it's got the sponge on the other side where you can hold the water in there. And this plastic part lasts forever. I have some that I've had for quite a while. And after I'm done with the videos, I go to the sink and I scrub up, and I use this to really clean up my hands and my nails. And it just is really a nice cleanup brush, especially with the multi-surface paints that I've been using. They just really help clean up everything so much more. And after you've scrubbed real good, it also has the nail brush, wiping with a real dirty hand here, a nail brush that you can get up underneath your nails. And it's got the other end as well, so you can really help clean up. And I've kind of just got my nails, they're just decorated for Halloween right now. But that's a really good product at MiriamJoy.com to help you with your crafts, especially during this messy Halloween season that we're working on right now. Alright, I let everything dry. I put my flat varnish over my jack-o'-lantern, and the reason it's flat is so it's not shiny and glossy, it looks older. I put my lights up through the hole, so we've got them ready to go. And then I also did my glow-in-the-dark paint really well on my hands and my skull. Now, the first thing I'm going to do with my pumpkin is to put a rock in it. That helps hold it down, keeps it from moving, it's not going to blow away. A nicer, bigger rock, flatter is better, so it doesn't roll around. And then I'm going to kind of stick these guys towards the front, and you can reposition them after you kind of get the moss behind them to have them kind of peek out the eye holes and the mouth holes. And I'm using Spanish moss just to kind of cover up all those and give it that kind of spooky feel. So I'm going to just kind of bring that in there and set that up against there. And then I'm going to fill up my pumpkin. Any type of filler. You can use plastic bags. I'm going to use some wrapping paper or packing paper. So anything you just want to kind of finish filling him up with, we're going to go ahead and do that. And then you could even hot glue the skull on, and you can decide how far you want him to sit down. And we're also going to cover that up again with the Spanish moss. So that you don't see your paper or anything, and then you glue him on top and decide how, like I said, how you want him kind of sitting in there. Now on my hands, I'm going to glue them on with E6000, and I'm also going to hot glue them on. The reason the E6000 is because I want them over time to stay there, but the hot glue for the temporary hold to keep them in place while the E6000 is drying. E6000 is that superior glue that you can glue plastic to plastic, glass to glass, glass to rock, rock to rock, any of those kind of things. So we do carry that on our website if you do need it. So we've got that all going there. And then I'm also going to come in and put some hot glue, like I said, just to hold that in place. And I'm going to turn this around just to kind of decide where I want that to go and put that into place. Make sure when you're gluing it that you're putting it sitting down on the ground so that your hand's not down further, or it's up higher or shorter. You want it just flush with your bottom of your pumpkin. So we'll set that down there, and we've got him so he kind of looks like he's holding his head. And we'll plug him in and show you what he looks like. Alright, we've got him all plugged in. I kind of moved the eyes around a little bit. I added some other little creepy critters to him. So just think outside the box what you can do. You could add some spider webs over the top of that. That would be really awesome and cool too. And have him sitting on your porch, kind of spooky. But you can't really see the glow in the dark yet. So even at night when the lights are even off more, he's really going to be glow in the dark. So that's just a lot of fun. I like the darker over the little bit lighter. I think it has more that skeleton type of look with it. And you could even do his skull a little bit more gray to match him in a little bit more if you wanted to. That's totally up to you. Just take it, run with it, make it your own. If you have any questions about anything we did today, please email me at art@miriamjoy.com. Come over to our website, see what fun things we have going on there as well at miriamjoy.com. There's a YouTube link where you can find lots more of these wonderful fun videos. Thank you. God bless.